Hey, sixth graders, we are on lesson 5 of 6 for science. So you have one more lesson this week, and then next week you'll review and take a test. So if it ever loads, try again here. There we go. Lesson 5 is on tides. So our My Planet Diary is a fun fact called A River in Reverse. If you are visiting New Brunswick in Canada, you might see the St. John River flowing into the ocean. But 6 hours later, you might find that the river changed direction while you were gone. How could this happen? The St. John River really does reverse course twice a day. At low tide, it empties into the Bay of Fundy, shown below. I'll show you the pictures in a second. At high tide, the Bay of Fundy's tide pushes into the river, forcing the river to run in the opposite direction. The Bay of Fundy's tides are among the highest in the world. So there are those two pictures on the bottom. You can see that this one over here that I'm pointing to is high tide, and the one on the other side is low tide. Okay, so our one question, why does the St. John River change direction? The tides from the Bay of Fundy push the river's water backward. So one key question, what are tides? So tides, the periodic rise and fall of the level of water in the ocean. Tides are caused mainly by difference in how much gravity from the moon and the sun pulls on different parts of Earth. Changes in the positions of Earth, Earth, the moon, and the sun affect the heights of the tides during a month. So, during a new moon, the sun, the moon, and Earth are nearly in a line. The gravity of the sun and the moon pull in the same direction. We have a spring tide, which is the tide with the greatest difference between consecutive low and high tides. First quarter, moon. The line between Earth and the sun is at right angles to the moon. The sun's pull is at a right angle to the moon's pull. Okay. Next, we have a neap tide. So there's two different types of tides, spring and neap. A neap tide is the tide with the least difference between consecutive low and high tides. So full moon, the moon and the sun are on opposite sides of Earth. Since there are high tides on both sides of Earth, a spring tide is also produced. It doesn't matter in which order the sun, Earth, and the moon line up. Third quarter is a neap tide because the moon is just on the opposite side of Earth. So same as the first quarter, except for it's on the opposite side. So if it would be here, it's going to be here instead. So vocab, just 3 of them. Tides are the periodic rise and fall of the level of water in the ocean. Spring tide, the tide with the greatest difference between consecutive low and high tides. And neap tide is the opposite, the tide with the least difference between consecutive low and high tides. So on your assignment, you'll have those 3 as matching with their definitions. And then I will also probably have this one as one of these 2 as a true or false. And then you'll have to match what type of tide there is at each one. So new moon and a full moon are spring tides, sorry. And then first quarter and third quarter have neap tides. So you have to match those 4. Okay? So your assignment is to complete the model questions for lesson 5. Let me know if there are any questions and have a great Tuesday.